Iron Ranger versus Blacksmith. It's not just the Toecap. While they're made on the same last, so they fit the same, there are more differences than you might think between the Red Wing Iron Ranger and the Blacksmith. Red Wing Heritage's two most popular boots. I mean, again, I don't know if they're the most popular boots. The Mocktail is probably up there as well, but Red Wing is everyone's first company as they're getting into Goodyear welted heritage boots. My first pair of Red Wings ever was my charcoal Mocktails, and then I got these Iron Rangers, which I conditioned with a not so great conditioner a few years ago, and I darkened them a lot, so they normally look more like this. But anyway, a few years later, I got this pair of Red Wing Blacksmiths. So the similarities between these two boots? Well, they both have the same grippy Vibram 430 mini lug outsole, Vibram mini lug outsole, the same cork midsole, same leather insole. They both have the same fit because they're made on the same last, the number 8 last. They're both made with thick, full grain, oil tanned leather from Red Wing's own tannery, SB Foot, although you can also get them in rough and tough, which is a type of nubuck. I'm gonna get into that a little bit later on. And they're both unlined as well. The differences is something a lot of people wonder about. So let's start with the obvious one. The first on our list, number 1, the Toecap. The Iron Ranger has a Toecap, the Blacksmith doesn't. Pretty simple, although it's worth emphasizing the Iron Ranger's Toecap is legit. It's like an actual extra layer of leather over the toe of the boot, secured with 4 rows of stitches here. So it actually does provide some extra protection, and that extra leather is probably why number 2 on our list, the price. The Iron Rangers are $30 more expensive. The $330, the Blacksmiths are $300. Number 3, the laces. Iron Rangers come with these round parachute cord nylon type laces. The Blacksmiths are flat wax cotton. They're stickier, a little more annoying to work with, but are less likely to come undone. And they're a little bit dressier as well. That's like the main bullet point with the Blacksmith. While they're both very casual boots, the Blacksmith dresses up ever so slightly better. Another reason why is number 4, the eyelets. They're shiny nickel on the Iron Ranger, and they're dull gilt on the Blacksmiths. They're brass. Unlike Red Wing's mock toes, both of these boots have 3 pairs of speed hooks, which makes them easy to get them on and off in a hurry. The speed hooks might sacrifice some of the dressiness, but they're not dressy boots, they're casual boots. Plus your pants are gonna be covering them most of the time anyway. But while we're talking about the dressiness, I did really want to draw your attention to number 5, the collar of these boots, the top of the shaft. The collar here has a few differences, but I wanted this to be a list of 10, not 11, so the collar is one entry here on this list. It's flat on the Blacksmiths, but it curves downward on the Iron Ranger. And there are 2 rows of stitching on the Iron Ranger up here by the collar, but there's 1 on the Blacksmith. And the edges are raw on the Iron Ranger, and they're rolled on the Blacksmith. That takes a bit more labor to do, plus over time the edge is less likely to get frayed if it's rolled like it is on the Blacksmith. And while we're talking about the shaft, number 6, the height. The Iron Ranger is taller. Check it out. They're both advertised as 6-inch boots, but the back of the shaft is about a ½ inch taller on the Iron Ranger before it starts to swoop down anyway. Number 7, the backstay is different. So just for some boot anatomy, this strip of leather here is called the backstay, and they're different on both of these boots. If you check out the Iron Ranger, it's actually one big kind of T-shaped piece of leather running here, right? So the leather that forms the backstay is also the leather that forms the heel here. So it's all one big piece of leather, whereas on the Blacksmith, you just get this one strip of leather here. And what that also means is that the heel is a little bit less protected on the Blacksmith, because on the Iron Ranger, this actually is another piece of leather going over the leather upper here. So the difference in the backstay and the counter there is pretty significant. Number 8 is the triple stitching. The counter backstay piece here on the Iron Ranger is secured with Red Wing's famous triple stitch. The Blacksmith, both on the heel and running up the backstay here, both of these are actually 2 lines of stitching, making it once again just a hair less casual, a hair more dressy, and just a tiny little bit less durable, although probably not to any actual practical degree. Number 9 is the fits. The fit is exactly the same between both of these boots because they're both made on the same number 8 last, which has a nice roomy toe. I know the Iron Ranger looks more bulbous, but that's because of the extra size added from the extra strip of leather on the toe. They're both the exact same fit, which is probably a ½ size down from your true size, like what you get on a Brannock device in a shoe store. Some guys go down a full size, but my true size on a Brannock device is an 11.5, and I got these in an 11. This is a long-winded way of saying they do have the same fit, but the Blacksmith is not available in wide widths, whereas you can get the Iron Ranger in a double E width. The regular D fit for both of these shoes, it's pretty roomy in the toe, and E-width feet typically do fit them anyway. But if you're even wider than an E-width, you can only get the Iron Ranger. And finally, number 10, the leathers. There are different leathers available for each of these shoes. So all of Red Wing's leathers come from their own tannery, SB Foot Tanning Company, but you don't get the same options for both of these shoes. So right now with the Iron Ranger, you can get amber harness, which is what this used to be before I darkened it. Amber harness, it's like a standard brown. Black harness, a slightly more red oxblood mesa. There are a couple of nubuck leathers, charcoal and copper rough and tough. And there's a rough out called Hawthorne Mule Skinner. In the Blacksmith, you can get the same rough and tough leathers, like the copper and the charcoal rough and tough, but none of the other leathers are the same for the Blacksmith. The only two other leathers you can get for the Blacksmith is this Briar Oil Slick here, which is considerably more red than the oxblood you get on the Iron Ranger. And then there's the Black Prairie leather, which actually isn't the same as the Black Harness Iron Ranger. Black Harness leather is black all the way through, whereas the Black Prairie leather you can get in the Blacksmith is a black overcoat over brown. So when the Iron Ranger scuffs, it's still black, whereas when the Black Prairie scuffs, you'll see some brown come through. All right, man, that's it. 10 differences between the Iron Ranger and the Blacksmith. Honestly, like before I started taking a really good look at these two boots that I've owned for many years, if you asked me like last week, I would have said, yeah, that's a Toecap, that's it. But there's actually a lot of differences here that a lot of people don't know about. So I hope this video was useful, and make sure you subscribe as well, because I got a lot more boot content, denim content, some jackets, and other kind of stuff coming up.